Welcome to the Defining Moments Black Men series of the Authentic Joe Show. I'm Jolena Johnson, your host, and I am so pleased and honored to welcome Rennell Parker Sr. How are you?
I'm doing well in yourself.
I'm good, thank you. I'm so excited you're here. Thank you for answering the call. Can you,
Absolutely.
yes, can you tell us a little about yourself, your occupation, and your background?
Yes, absolutely. So my occupation from 9 to 5, I am a consultant in IT, where I operate as a Scrum Master slash product owner, helping to facilitate different IT projects via application or reporting development. Then outside of that, first I forgot to say I'm a husband and father first before anything else. Then also I provide life coaching, mentoring, and other services in the community as well.
Fantastic. And how would you describe yourself?
I was describe myself as one driven by purpose, in which my purpose is to assist others in living their dreams out loud.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Okay. If you had to pick a phrase for the theme of your life, what would it be?
Um, be purposeful and intentional,
And why
and
is that
handle your
important?
business.
And handle your business.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that important?
The first part, which I actually said second, was handle your business, and that was a phrase that my father always told my brothers and I growing up: is have fun, but handle your business. And one of the things I learned along the way is to be purposeful in what I do, so that I can walk with purpose, move on purpose, live on purpose, for a purpose, on purpose. And by doing that, I must be intentional to make that possible.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I love it. Okay. Well, oftentimes people ask, well, what is a defining moment? So, a defining moment is a point in life when a pivotal decision must be made or when an experience fundamentally changes a person. What defining moment would you be willing to share with us today?
My defining moment, I think I'm going to take it back to the fall of '99. Actually, the winter of '99. When I graduated high school, I went to college at Park University in Kansas City, Missouri. And I was there on a partial basketball scholarship, but I lacked something or lost something I call humility. So to where I realized my coach wasn't going to grow, I had to do the growing, but that was a lesson I learned later in life. So long story short, I ended up quitting the basketball team in the middle of the season during our winter break. And so after quitting the team, I moved back. I finished the school year, moved back home to St. Louis. Things still weren't going right here. So my defining moment was when I decided to go to the United States Navy.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack. That's fantastic. Okay. So you said your humility, what did you say? It wasn't in check or in place. What did you say?
It was non-existent, honestly.
It was
I
non
saw
existent.
how Yes, I saw how good I was getting at playing the game, and I didn't want to listen. Thus, I couldn't learn. Without humility being in place, I did not have checks and balances to check myself and my own growth along the way.
Mm. So what do you attribute that to? Did you just excel in life and so you didn't feel like you needed to be humble? I mean, what happened? I think that's
Oh,
important for a man to explain
yeah.
this.
Well, one of the things that I've learned is that anything I want to do in life is because I make the choice to do it. Anything that I don't do in life is because I made the choice not to do it. And one of the things I had to grow and really understand is that, okay, now I have to take ownership over those decisions. And, my inability at the time to listen, to take heed to, wisdom and great advice. I neglected and dismissed those things when I had them at my disposal. And so again, that's where the lack of humility came in, to where I thought I was better than being in a position to learn from those that have been there where I was working to go to.
Gotcha. So if you could go back and so we're going to get to the Navy in a moment, okay? But this is
Mhm.
very rich. So if you could go back to that time before you quit, what would you tell yourself?
Stay the course.
And what
Um,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
and I would say stay the course, and I wouldn't change a thing. I would still have quit the team because it was those lessons I've learned that has empowered me to evolve into who I am today.
Gotcha. Okay, and so now Okay, so you said you finished the semester or finished the year
Hmm.
semester. You went back home. Did you go back to your parents' house?
Yes, I went back to my parents' house. I enrolled I went to Harris Stowe State University. I went to Florida Valley for a semester. And I actually had the opportunity to try out for a professional basketball team. They were looking for some American players in Italy. And a week before the tryouts would have been in Chicago, Illinois. And I hurt my ankle a week before the tryouts. And that's when I made the decision. The Navy worked for my father. So I'm pretty sure it could work for me as well.
Wow, that is interesting. I think there's no coincidence that happened.
None at all.
A week. Thank goodness it happened a week before as opposed to a week after. Oh my
You
God.
got that right.
Okay, so it worked for your father, so it worked for you. So how long did you stay in the Navy?
I served 5 years on active duty, and I did another 4.5, 5 years in the reserves as well.
Fantastic. So as a result of your decision to join the Navy, how did that experience shape your life?
I really began to live in that moment. When I went into the Navy a year later, my wife and I got married. Actually, no, 3 months after I went into the military, my wife and I got married. A year later, we had our son. So when I realized that I was living for more than just myself, is when I really began to live life.
Okay. Okay. And how was the experience being in the Navy?
Oh, I had a blast. I had a blast. I mean, I learned so much more about myself. I developed an appreciation for the world, the importance of traveling, as well as a appreciation for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I know can be very cliche with all the different programs and the issues that we have going on in our society. But I really did learn to appreciate, everyone's values from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm. So what was different? I mean, you didn't have humility. You joined the Navy, and then all of a sudden it was fantastic. So what happened? Did you gain humility along the way, or how did this connect? Because you're having to answer to people and you're having to follow rules. So what happened?
I definitely gained humility along the way. Even prior to my departing for the Navy, I had the opportunity to coach eighth grade girls basketball. And I was able to, at that point, start to funnel the lessons that I've learned along the way into these girls. So again, now I'm able to teach lessons of humility based off of my experience of not having humility in that particular moment.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so if you were to, we've heard mixed bags about the military, right? And so, of course, when you
Mhm.
talk to somebody who's in the Marines or who's a veteran, the Marines are number one, or somebody who's in the Navy is the best. So, if there was a young man today that you were speaking to, and he was in a situation like you, where school didn't necessarily work, other things didn't necessarily work, there's a lot of people who would say, "Don't join the Navy." So, what would be three things that you would say he could get out of joining the Navy if he had the acumen, the qualifications, and those type things?
Experience, see
Okay.
the world, and get paid to do it.
Okay.
One of the examples, my little cousin was in that situation
Mhm.
and didn't know what she was going to do. She had plans, but not a strategy to accomplish what she was planning to do. So
Mhm.
I helped her with her enrollment, the entire process, up until the moment she went to boot camp. And after our first deployment, she wrote a letter to myself and her entire family about the help that she received, but more importantly, the experience that she had. And she listed going to all these different countries, Dubai, Turkey, Greece. But the most valuable thing that she had in that letter was her experience in seeing dolphins and jellyfish. And the reason that is so important is because we can fly to Dubai, we can fly to Greece, we can fly to Italy or Spain and never see a dolphin or a jellyfish. But the experience to be on the ship, cruise along the water, no smog, no traffic, but to hear and see dolphins swimming beside the ship is an experience all of its own.
Wow.
Priceless.
Yes, I was gonna say it's unfathomable to me. I mean, I've been on a cruise before. I've been on a couple of cruises, but I never saw any dolphins or jellyfish. So that is wow, you just gave me goosebumps. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So based on where you are today as a husband, a father, and like you said, you have your 9 to 5 and you're also a coach. Um What would you say is most important for people to be able to follow? You said she had a plan. No, she had a plan, but she didn't have a strategy. So can you speak
Correct.
to, maybe 3 things from your coaching or something like that? How do we get a strategy? What do we have to do? What are like 3 steps? And if you have more, that's fine, to, being where we are and then deciding that we're going to make this transition. We have this defining moment and say, I'm going to make a choice and then I'm going to follow through.
Yeah. The first thing is acknowledgement, right? Is acknowledging where we are in a particular moment in time.
Okay.
And with an acknowledgement, also understanding that time does not belong to us. Time belongs to the creator of heaven and earth. But it's the opportunities that we are to embrace. But in that acknowledgement and the embracing of the opportunities is also understanding what are our desires in life. Everybody wants something or wants to do something, but everybody doesn't want to do the work, right? So we have to level up to what do we desire to do? And when we have desire to achieve something, we also are determined and driven to the process it takes to achieve that or to earn that opportunity that we're after. So I think those are those values and those characteristics that we need to possess in order to be successful and achieve whatever it is we desire.
That sounds fantastic. You make it sound so easy. What about when people have problems? What about when somebody tries to discourage you, or you find out you no longer have a job tomorrow, or somebody kicks you when you're down? I mean, what about those times? Because that sounds good, but what about in those times that you're tempted to be stressed because you have a real reason to be fearful or upset? What about then?
So fear has 2 meanings.
Okay.
You can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. And that is a choice, right? Everything boils down to a choice. The only choice we do not have is the light that shines through our eyes and the wind that flows through our lungs. Everything else is a choice, be it how we perceive things, how we react and respond to things, also how we proactively go after things. It's all a choice. And once we acknowledge that we have that choice and we embrace that choice as our superpower, then we're never stuck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm inspired. Now, did you go back and complete your degree, or did you stop? I'm curious about that.
No, I did complete my degree. So let's see, I graduated from high school in 1999, went into the military. I've written books. I even taught at the bridge program at the University of Missouri St. Louis during from 2008 to 2010. However, I did not actually complete my degree until 2016.
Okay, so that speaks volumes as well. So you can continue, you can have a strategy, and you can begin to fulfill your strategy, and then also along the way add new milestones and things like that in order to accomplish what you want to achieve.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, shoot. I don't know what else to say. I'm very inspired and excited, and I'm glad to hear that what your dad did made a difference and you paid attention and that you followed in his footsteps. And maybe someone who's watching today will also consider the Navy or something else as an alternative that they might not ever consider had they not heard what you said. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any final thoughts before we conclude?
One of the things you asked is when we stumble, we falter, or things don't happen the way that we desire for them to go. Mm-hmm. And I think it's about being prayerful, yes, and being intentional about what we pray for. Mm-hmm. Understanding that when we pray, we're doing all the talking. But I also implore that everyone also meditates, because when we meditate, that is the moment when we now listen for that in which we've prayed for. So be bold, be brilliant, and be audacious in accomplishing what you desire in life. Remember, the only thing that can stop you is you. Therefore, the only thing that can get you there is you.
I can't help but clap. I need to come to one of your workshops.
Actually, we have some coming up, so we can talk about that as well offline.
I love it. Okay, Rennell, this has been so inspiring. I truly appreciate you taking the time to share your experience and your wisdom with us. I wish you the very best. And then I want to put your information in the body of this video so that people will know how to get in touch with you should they desire to come to you for coaching or anything else. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.